Hello, this video is for Friday, June 13th, and a little while ago we said the sorrowful mysteries of the Rosary, and we say the sorrowful mysteries on Fridays. So I thought it'd be a good time to think about some things we can meditate on as we go through and we say the Rosary and we stop and we reflect on each mysteries. So here are some things we can think about for the Fourth Sorrowful Mystery. And I'm going to read from my rosary booklet here that always does a great job on synopsizing all of the points. So the fourth sorrowful mystery, the carrying of the cross. In this mystery, we recall another scene in our Lord's Passion. Although he had been scourged and crowned with thorns, the people still cried for more. They now demanded that he be crucified, though they knew that this form of punishment was only inflicted on slaves and the worst type of criminals. And Pilate, still fearing the anger of the people, gave in to their demand. A heavy cross was placed on his shoulder, and he was led to the place of execution. He was very weak from pain and the loss of blood, and he fell several times beneath the weight of the cross. This, however, did not touch the hearts of the onlookers. Crowds of men and women, and even children, followed, mocking him and calling out vile names. Some even threw stones at him as he passed by. Surely the worst of criminals would have received better treatment than our Lord received while carrying his cross. But we all know every step of this sorrowful journey to Calvary. We find it pictured on the walls of every Catholic church. Let us often make the stations and understand what the forgiveness of sin cost Christ. So wow, another powerful mystery here, the carrying of the cross. And when I was reading that passage from the pamphlet, I was thinking how it's depicted in churches and in religious art. And a lot of times you really can't appreciate the pain and suffering that he went through. And when you think about it, it is really powerful. So here are some meditative points for the fourth sorrowful mystery I'd like to touch upon. So we see again his humility and his willingness to suffer for our salvation. We see how he willingly takes up the cross, and we can imagine the pain of each step. Consider this, the physical and the spiritual agony of each step that he took as he walked to his crucifixion, and that he met his blessed mother, and the sorrow that must have been shared between them. And then Simon of Cyrene being called to help Jesus carry the cross. And we can think about ourselves and how we're called to help others in suffering. And although not mentioned in the booklet, we have Veronica wiping the face of Jesus. That's certainly in the Stations of the Cross. And we can think about the act of compassion and courage that it took for her to do so. And that Jesus fell 3 times. We can think about the perseverance that he had even in his weakened state, and think about God's mercy in our lives when we fall. And lastly, we can think about the fact that his suffering was not in vain, that it had a redemptive purpose, and it had a redemptive purpose for us and for the whole world. So that's again a very powerful mystery, the carrying of the cross. And as we say the Rosary, and we say that particular decade, and we say the Hail Marys, and we think about all of these things, it really does provide a soul of the Rosary. So thank you again for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful day.